5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued about this lifesteal first phase. It's something that we do not see often. I guess it's definitely a good matchup versus the Mars. You always have this possibility to be able to just run out of the arena. You're going to have a good time against that. You don't have to worry about the big ultimate of the Mars, but a first phase lifestealer.
Cool. I mean, it's cool. I'm just hoping we see a second item Dezo. Usually, like the main build for the lifestealer is Armlet, Sange, maybe into a Halberd, into a Skadi, and that is when the hero becomes strong. Sometimes you see a Deso somewhere in between, just to ramp up the damage. But then again, you go Armlet, Deso, and then you go for a defensive item. So if you want to go for this kind of a play where you're infesting the storm before the fight starts, if that is the call, I don't think it should be. But given that it's the first two picks, it might be. Then I'd like to see more in the damage department. So let's say Armlet, Deso, Crystallis, and then you get a defensive item, Halberd or Skadi. I guess that would be the approach if you want to blow people up. But on the other hand, I still think this is just going to be a classic lifestealer. They're just attacking everyone, using Infest mostly to save people, save himself rather than just infest someone and blow up a hero. At least that is how I think the hero should be utilized and how the hero has been utilized for the past at least 2 years.
10 seconds remaining.
One also thing that's interesting is how Motivated is just going to play the Storm Spirit in general. We have seen it in the past so far through the BTS Pro Series, where they've given it pretty often to Mastros in the offlane. They, of course, they're very comfortable with Gacha Boy playing it, but just the fact that they're attempting to flex it as a position 3, so it's going to be interesting if they do that again in this game.
Yep, definitely gonna be cool. The thing is, they don't ban the Wisp. If you're playing a offlane Storm against the Wisp lane, that is not good. The Storm is very good at constantly poking out, pushing in the wave, attacking you, just forcing you to burn regen. He doesn't have much kill potential until he's level 6, which means as a Wisp, you're gonna be able to go aggressively on him because you're not afraid of dying. Not the Wisp in general, but the Wisp plus 1 combo. So that is why I'm not sure why they're not banning the Wisp again, or do they think, okay, if the enemies pick the Wisp, we're just gonna put this hero in the mid lane, and then he's a great counter to the Wisp rather than getting countered by the hero in the laning phase.
Yeah, I wonder if the Wisp isn't as strong here just because they don't have the back-to-back picks in the second phase, so they can't go Wisp plus their carry. If you picked it now, then Motivate would have 2 answer picks, and then if you left it for the 18th, then you would have had to show another core, which would have felt maybe a bit awkward for RSG. So instead, they go for the Bane. It's a nice combo. Bane, Grimstroke, potential for double Fiend's Grip, but just more importantly, you have another BKB piercing control for the Lifestealer.
Yep, I'd like to see a damage dealing position 5 now from Motivate.Trust. Witch Doctor is something that isn't played. In the lane, I think damage dealing, because the Lifestealer, he has a lot of sustain by himself. He slows the enemies down, so you want a support that can actually do the damage. Disruptor comes to mind. I want also something that can stop the Bane's Fiend's Grip from a lot of range. So Disruptor seems pretty solid to me right now. It is not a hero that we see often, but that is the type of a hero that I like to see. A lot of damage in the lane and a way to stop the Fiend's Grip. I think that's the approach now for Motivate.Trust that I'd love to see.
Are there any heroes that you feel like fit that role?
Radiant team pick.
Disruptor. Is there anything else? Crystal Maiden can't stop the Bane ulti,
That's
so
one,
she's good in terms of damage.
The Clockwork's always...
Clock.
Yeah.
Clockwork is great against the Mars in particular, just because Irina comes out, you use the cogs, suddenly the Mars cannot latch his spear towards the edge of the arena. That's why it's good. Shadow Shaman is a high damage dealer. He's not that great at stopping the Fiend's Grip until he has the Blink Dagger, because you naturally don't want to get super close, or if you're getting super close, you want to be the one initiating the fight. You go in with the Hex, you put down the wards, you go with the Shackles, and you force the enemies to go towards you. The problem I have with the Shadow Shaman is that it's much easier for the Bane to stop the Shackles than it is for the Shadow Shaman to stop the Fiend's Grip, just because the Bane can pretty much sleep his own target and the guy is safe. But Motivate.Trust, yeah, some decent picks, but I can't say I'm the biggest fan of it. If it's a Clockwork Lifestealer lane, the Mars can do well there, especially with the Grimstroke. They can't get kills, but they'll be getting a ton of farm. The Shadow Shaman, as I mentioned, you're not playing against any mobile heroes right now, and the thing is, RSG don't have to get them. They have really good setup already with the Bane, with the Mars. They don't really need to have mobile heroes as the Puck, as something along those lines, though I wouldn't mind seeing a Puck either way, because other than the Shadow Shaman, that's about it that you have.
In regards to the Shaman, I just feel like it also provides you a way to take towers, because at the moment Motivate don't have any objective taker. Like Lifesteal is really not known as someone who's able to hit buildings until really the later stages, so at least the Shaman can open up the map, and we've been speaking about that a lot the past couple of days, where a lineup, when you're going for this pick-off heavy team, you need to get these early towers just to open up the map, be able to have more avenues into the enemy's jungle, and that's kind of the lineup they have at the moment, like Infest into Clockwork, Infest into Storm Spirit, and go for there, because at the moment Motivate, their team fight is a bit lacking.
5 seconds remaining.
True. Though, you remember at the start of the draft when I mentioned I don't like to see an infested lifestealer just try to go for a kill? I hate to see it even more right now, because Shadow Shaman and the Clockwork, they're not heroes that provide you with much burst potential, especially when you're playing against a Bane. They can just sleep someone, save them for a second, and they get out. So Motivate.Trust, there's a few ways you go about this one. You go for a heavy damage dealer, or you completely just wait, try to split out the map, go for pickoffs as much as you can, and leave the lifestealer to get super farmed so that he can just go ahead of you. They try to go for him, they go in with the stun, and then the storm reinitiates and stuff like that, and you just rely on your lifestealer and the fight to be long for you to win it. Because right now, Motivate.Trust, for them to burst someone down, it's highly unlikely.
Dire team pick.
Timber, okay. What do we got? No Monkey, no Ursa.
I'd love to see a Troll, I have to say. It's not that great against the Clockwork, but Troll, if you buy an early Javelin, you're actually good against the Timber. It is a hero that I love to see used properly. Will we see it here? I'm not sure. But yeah, when it comes to classic laning heroes against the Timber, you don't have any.
Templar Assassin.
You may now select your heroes.
Okay.
Interesting.
It is, yeah, not bad. Clockwork, Shadow Shaman, not the highest of armor heroes. When it comes to the later portions of the game, you have a lot of lockdown. Jumping in and blowing someone up is definitely easier for the side of RSG than it is for the side of Motivate.Trust, unless Motivate.Trust are really well prepared. There is a lot of catch this time around on Motivate.Trust. The problem is, can you kill a person with that catch? So I think that if you're just dodging the Timber Saw this time around, if you're RSG, that your heroes are not going to be dying. Let's say the Bane is protecting the TA, the Grimstroke gets a shard protecting the Mars, the Ember Spirit is always close to either the Bane or the TA, or more likely to the Grimstroke and the Mars. You get a few pickoffs on the Shadow Shaman. There is no save for the Storm, which is a problem. And you just ignore the Timber Saw until you can actually just destroy him. With the physical damage of the TA. In my mind, I think RSG have a much easier time here. For Motivate.Trust to win this one, they're gonna need a very strong lifestealer. So I think this is an Armlet Halberd Scotty game. If he gets there in a decent timing where his teammates haven't started dying already, where the Timber Saw isn't an easy target at that point, I think it is the way to go. Other than that, I think that RSG have a much more straightforward draft, and whenever they see the Shadow Shaman just coming towards their tower to push it down, you come in with the Mars, you protect it, or if the Timber Saw is there, you go towards the other part of the map and just trade the towers. If you're trading, at some point the TA will hit her timing before Motivate.Trust, and you will get the win.
Yeah, I think it's going to be important for Motivate to be able to take over the triangle very fast. You just mentioned that it's going to be all eyes on just avoiding the Timber Saw as best as possible. If he's taking one tower, you're on the opposite side of the map and taking the other tower. So maybe we could see a little bit more emphasis on them putting priority on their own safe lane tower, just so they can maybe open up the triangle, take away a good portion of MKS's farm. Because that's, if you let the TA just free farm, there's always going to be an issue. You have the decent position 4 that can make stacks as well. Xiao Bonbon on the Grimstroke should definitely be able to help out the TA by the triangle to be able to get her farm ramped up. So, but for you in particular, this game, you just feel like it's really, if they can avoid the Timber, then they have a lineup that looks easier to convert.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, when sometimes you're like, okay, if the Timber goes super deep, you just want to kill him. The problem in this game is that Motivate.Trust are lacking damage to finish off people without the Timber, so they're going to be wanting to get kills around him as well. This, of course, all falls down the drain if Motivate.Trust just come out to the laning stage super strong, which I think that isn't going to happen in this game. I don't see them getting multiple kills in the laning stage. That's just the nature of their heroes. But, so you need to be around the Timber for you to be able to get kills during the duration of the cogs, during the duration of the Storm Pool. As I mentioned, the Shackles of the Shadow Shaman easily cancelled out by the Bane Sleep. So that means that the Ember Spirit can run away. The Mars, if he's there close, he can turn around the fight. So you want to play around the Timber Saw if you're Motivate.Trust. So RSG, if they recognize this one, if they recognize that they're not going to be bleeding too many kills if they're not close to the Timber Saw, they can easily protect the mid lane tower, maybe let go of the top one and trade of the bottom one, and then just make sure that the TA gets her items fast. As soon as she's ready to blow up the Timber, I think it's time to fight.
Well, we've got a fight already breaking out. Xiao's going to take the brunt of the force at the moment with Tigger entering the higher ground, but really it's just to hold them back and secure the bounty runes, as Mastros will even get the other one on the higher ground. So it looks like it'll be 2, actually 3, going the way of Motivate. There you go. Off to a good start for the lads on Radiant.
Yep, Clockwork is just so nasty level 1 when there are no creeps around. The Battery Assault, even level 1, just does solid amounts of damage. You don't want to be fighting into that. So he pushes back RSG, who came in with numbers there for that rune. So solid start overall.
So you're putting a lot of emphasis on the Timber Saw kind of being the big reason why Motivate are able to take this game. How can they look to enable Mastros on this hero?
You want to force RSG to have to be close to his lane.
Okay.
So and then if their RSG are like, okay, we have to kill this guy, if they get forced into going for him, and you can turn it around with the Timber Saw damage plus the few lockdowns, then it's great. You know, the Timber Saw is gonna be enabled just in itself. I don't think he's gonna be touched much in a sense of getting solid farm. So you just need to find ways to fight around him. You need to bait RSG there, and there is a chance that RSG feel like, okay, we can kill him, and then they go in and they just get turned around on with a good hook shot, with a good zip from the Storm. So Motivate.Trust, in my mind, they have to be ready when their Timber Saw is about to get attacked. If, let's say, they're all on the bottom lane and the Timber Saw is alone on top, he's gonna be a target. The Arena, the Inkswell, and the Ember Spirit, they actually have enough to bring him down if he's alone.
Yeah, well, I think you also have ways to force fights in regards to the Serpent Wards on the Shadow Shaman. So Leaf can just drop the wards at the front of the tower, forcing RSG to come back and defend, and that's where all of a sudden Timber shows up and you're like, oh crap, what do we do? Timber's here, but we need to defend our tower. Like, it's going to be a very tricky task for RSG to deal with. So I suppose eyes on Leaf as well, and how the Shaman's lane is able to go. Like, if he gets an early level 6, maybe these towers can start to fall even without needing the catapults.
True. You know, sometimes you think about Motivate.Trust, they would love to, you have a Timber, so you'd love to take the enemy tier 1s, the top one and the mid one really early on. I like that you mentioned the Shadow Shaman. The way that you're gonna force out the mid lane tower to fall in this game in particular for Motivate.Trust is that you take the top tier 1, you force the wards onto the top tier 2, and then once the enemies TP in to defend that one, you just beeline towards the mid lane and take that one when the enemies are not in position to defend it. I think that's gonna be a one move that Motivate.Trust should try to make in this game, and that's using both the Timber Saw and the Shadow Shaman wards.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing on what the Shaman is able to provide a team, and I really feel like why we're going to start seeing this hero more, because it's something that just means you are not reliant on like 5 minutes, 10 minutes whenever the catapult spawn to go for that push, because often that is something that teams look to play around. Like, maybe if you don't have a tower sieger or, you know, no exo carrier, no Elder Dragon form, you drop the wards down, you get the early towers, it opens up the map, and then Dota's so much easier to play. And I think that was a big reason why we were seeing the Enchantress and the Chens and all those summon heroes, because they can just give you that easier time to get objectives, and then all of a sudden you're Dota just really becomes that much easier. To-do list, in a way, something I like saying, it's just you tick off multiple things early on, and then it means that you can open up your game. Maybe you can take a top tier 2 tower, or you can defend the bottom tier 1 tower in regards to if it's Radiant. So I've always been a big fan of supports that can help take objectives.
Yeah, you can't let them go. Sometimes you're gonna see the support just pushing out the wave. You're like, we don't care about you. Your kill is not worth to us or anything. But when it's heroes that can actually push the towers, it's a lot of chip damage that you can prevent.
We have a battle by the river though. Unfortunately, Gacha Boy is not able to step in, but he's gonna be in trouble. Roger finds the Nightmare. Tigger's gonna look to break this, but it will not matter with 3 heroes surrounding the Storm Spirit. It's a beautiful cogs, but Silen still has the damage from afar. And now we can stand his ground. They're both taking the battery cell, so Tigger can't get a return kill. Maybe it's Leaf.
He's gonna have the slide.
The tower hits are not enough. Still Silen falling lower and lower, but look at this. The recognition from both teams on how important it is to move mid and try and secure the runes.
Yeah, the Storm Spirit is the one that can actually kill these supports in the backlines. Let's say he goes for an early Orchid. He gets 3 nulls, he gets a Treads, and he goes for an early Orchid. He can actually go in and kill these supports. And then RSG, this lineup where you're like, they can't die unless the Timbersaw is there, you kind of write it off. And he destroys all your idea of how you should be playing this game. So they understand that the Storm is naturally a stronger laner than the Ember Spirit, and they go there, and with Exilern actually getting the first blood, that is a big deal because Ember will be a big part of RSG's damage, at least in the first, let's say, 12 to 15 minutes. That is when you want to get
in trouble.
Kills.
Leaf with the backstab. Shaco's not going to last long enough, and actually Xiaoyu is tanky with his stats. They have a salve. Unfortunately, they don't on Xiao Bomb, but maybe the Ring of Health along with the tower regen is enough to keep the Mars in the lane.
The problem, he doesn't have the mana, so securing the CS not gonna be easy, and KMP just perfectly in equilibrium. Nah, he gets the creeps into a tower. A bit of a misplay there coming out from him.
Is there any lane that you're expecting to go better than what it has so far?
No, maybe I was expecting MKS to be a bit better in terms of CS, but it's not that big of a difference. I like that Motivate.Trust are getting a bit of a win. They should get it.
They should be killed off. Xiao Bonbon, beautifully done. Xiao Bonbon on the Grimstroke is just ridiculous. Like, this man knows exactly where to be. It's Yonk. I mean, why not Xiaoyu? Sure, you would have loved to give that kill over to Silen, but he'll take it, especially with a rough, well, not too rough, 29 last hits, but yeah, we saw him fall very low prior, so I'd love to get a little bit of gold injected into the bank.
Yo, I lost 1.5 wave of creeps, so Ember, that's my kill, even though you waste so much time top lane.
Yeah, Roger. Long zip in from Gacha Boy. He's going to be able to connect the Clockwork, moving aggressively into the jungle. And now they want to try and get more out of this. MKS, though, off the back of the ward on the higher ground. We'll see them continuing on towards the tower. But this tower is gone now. There's no way you defend this Radiant. They don't have a catapult, but it doesn't matter. And they instantly see what Mastros is doing. Just going to cut the next wave, tank the tower. And with the creeps soon to connect, he should have enough damage to be able to bring this down.
Oh,
yeah, it should fall.
What? He didn't tank the tower, so he's going to lose. He needs the creeps to do the damage, so it's a bit awkward.
Ember is coming.
He just wants to clear the wave. That's a nice read from Silen. No one else can really come. The Ember's just going to cut the wave. Timber now won't have the damage, and so this pretty much is taking away some of the effect that you want Mastros to have early. If you can, again, open up the map, get that tier 1 tower without forcing out Serpent Wards, then you could potentially use it for mid, as we see both Xiao Bonbon and Leaf are trying to soak up some experience.
I like the idea of the Ember. If he stays in the mid lane, he's pretty much just farming. If he goes towards the bottom lane, he can't get a kill there. The strength of the Lifestealer is because this hero can stay on the lane for a very long time and not die. Mid lane, though.
They've able to set up, but Xiao Bonbon instantly steps into mid, and Gacha Boy is going to think twice about this, but it's still a lot of damage. Hang on! Oh, Silen! Pops to the other shocker was only level 1, and now Gacha Boy... Oh, whoa, Silen's going to buy back! Okay, this is a heavy commitment. They spring the trap, but he might not get the kill. Roger steps in, Sniper at the last second. Silent gets the gold. He probably wants the Shaman kill as well. You need to give him as much gold as you possibly can after that buyback, and they will do just that. A double kill for the Ember, looking for the triple under the tier 1 tower. If Silent can catch up to the clockwork, he's got slide up in a couple of seconds, and he should be able to close the distance. Tigger, he's making him work for it. He's doing a good job, but there we go. Silent gets it. A triple kill for your Ember. And he bought back, but at least he gets a lot of experience out of that.
Yeah, but I love that Motivate.Trust are winning the laning stage this much. You have the Lifestealer pretty much unkillable. You have the Timber at this point unkillable unless you bring multiple heroes. And with the Lifestealer being on the bottom lane all this time, he's gonna be giving so much info on where the Mars is. As soon as the Mars misses, that's when Masaros goes back into the jungle, and he should be okay. So this is now Motivate.Trust. They need to be increasing this lead, and then, as we said, find a good way to get towards the Timber, get a few kills, and force RSG into a fight that they don't want to be taking.
Timber is getting to the stage where he's going to be very difficult to kill as well. He's got this hood already, and I do not believe there's any Spirit Vessels being worked on Dire. They don't really have the greatest Spirit Vessel carriers anyway, but man, yes, Mastros. We've seen what he can do on the Timber, top of the net worth, and if he gets that next item, I don't know if he dies.
And RSG are trying to force things out on the other parts of the map, trying to force the Timber here, but Exilern again in trouble.
Oh no, the Nightmare. If Roger can just step in, but he will not be able to get the oh wow, he did. He didn't even use the Nightmare. It didn't matter. Sillen got out, gets the invis. Now able to put a bottle back up and maybe help with this tower defense. Oh, Mastros though connecting to mid. The Timbersaw, first aggressive move we've seen from him so far, and even the Storm Spirit's going to jump from the higher ground. They're going to be cautious, because Yaoyu's going to step in. Arena lands the connection onto the Shadow Shaman, so they'll kill off Leaf. Mastros still wants to dive aggressively, though, underneath the tier 2 tower with the Rock of Flare. That's enough to get rid of Roger.
They have the spear.
I don't know if they kill him. Yes, the tier 2 tower did a lot of damage at this stage of the game. Reactive armor stacks. Enough for Mastros to be able to just leap out to safety.
That would have been so huge if he died, but with him surviving, it is a big problem. Motivate.Trust, because of the very good laning phase, they're finding ways for the Timbersaw to stay relevant. And look at KMP, he's not afraid of dying at all, but they have the ulti on the Bane.
Oh, awkward pathing it looked like.
I think that he got scared there by the trap. I think that was the thing. I think they could have just waited for a second more and might have been... I don't know if they have the damage, though. If he uses the armlet before the Fiend's Grip, I actually don't see them killing the 1800 HP Lifestealer anyways.
If you're on Motivate, what is the call... Oh, is Leaf considering Roche? Well, what's the call with this Serpent Ward? How do you try and set up a fight around mid?
I think you try to set up a fight around Masaros wherever he is, force out RSG to go into an unfavorable position, and then whichever tower they leave alone, and that is most likely going to be the mid one, you place the wards there. We can see now that Motivate.Trust kind of have the that kind of an idea. Masaros will be on the top lane, try to force things out, and they see the Mars on the top lane. Immediately he's running towards the mid lane, so they're gonna make a little bit more straightforward move, or will they? Shadow Shaman actually wants the Roche.
Okay, well, with all this going on, KMP also took the bottom tier 1 tower, so 2 towers killed off, reactions being set in place as RSG have to defend their lanes. Gajabwe might try and jump Xiaoyu while Roche is going on, and RSG, they have no read of this at all, so the first Serpent Ward's usage is going to give the Aegis over to Gajabwe, and he is one of the best carries in the game.
This is not only because Motivate.Trust have the Aegis, it's about the TA lineup not having the opportunity to get it for at least the next 8 minutes, but could be 11. So Motivate.Trust now, with this Aegis, they might actually be able just to put the Timbersaw in front and run it as fast as possible. I wouldn't even be mad if they gave the Aegis to the Timber, but they probably feel like he can never die if they are in the vicinity. So Storm now will be able to go as aggressively as he can. First off, push out the top wave, and then I think they're gonna be coming in together and just trying to go for this mid lane.
I think if Dire execute perfectly, they can defend this tower. Like, you just got Blink completed on Jiaoyu. You've got Soulbind, double Fiend's Grip as an opportunity. They're going to smoke to bottom instead. They do see KMP farming. And there we go. The Blink reveal instantly to the Fiend's Grip. They're going to look to swarm the live stealers. MKS showing up with the damage they require to get rid of the position 1. That is the first death. Like you said, they got to go back mid, though. The threat of this tower falling.
He's doing a good job here, and no one is actually threatening him other than Masaros.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Seems like they're just trying to bait a fight on the Timber Saw, but if they don't commit, the rest of the pact of RSG are not going to be coming. They probably made a call.
Gotcha boy. Trying to utilize the arcane rune, but he doesn't get the connection. Instant stun.
He still has the Aegis.
Oh no, he's got the Aegis, but you just feed away the first life. They got to get out though. They've got to get out, but MKS suck inside the cogs. The executive call for the rest of RSG members to look to avoid the fight. Sealan wants to jump in though. He's into the middle, another remnant to the north. He's got one more remnant to play with on the Ember, but they will be lacking catch. So in the end, a 2-for-1 and RSG get the Aegis. Not the worst fight.
I think that Motivate.Trust there, they underestimated just how powerful they are, and they could have just forced down the mid lane with all of their heroes, kind of forced out the fight there. But if your hero is getting jumped first and then you're TPing in, you're gonna have casualties before you go in, and we can see that Motivate.Trust, they can kill one hero, but they don't have that much damage to finish people off, especially if the Shadow Shaman is dead and they don't have the lockdown necessary for the damage to kick in. So RSG, I like the way that they're playing, but I think Motivate.Trust, now they're gonna be going forward. The problem is, after that fight, did RSG actually get enough of a influx of levels to actually be able to finally kill this Timber Saw, even if his teammates are close to him?
This is perfect time to go. You got Serpent Wards, you know the arena was used prior. Even KMP with the level 12 is looking to show up to chunk down this objective. So there's going to be no answer from RSG, as they have to watch their last T1 tower drop to the lads on Motivate.
Understandably so. The Lifestealer came. He didn't recognize the opportunity earlier on, and that's why the sequence of event was so bad. But we can see that Motivate, they could have done this once they had the Aegis, and RSG would get absolutely nothing. They did get some of the kills, and that might amp up, considering that the TA is approaching that Deso, and that is when you can actually burst people down. Storm.
Oh, yep. He's going to still run into the Grimstroke. Xiaoyu. Blink on cooldown, so he can't jump behind. In fact, he steps over the line to Masaros. But a blow up Zhao Bonbon, almost that ward from Dire inside the jungle was enough to give them the read that Radiant were coming to their neighborhood. But what you lose is the Grimstroke, and that's okay. At least you're not losing some more important heroes. Maybe mid lane though, Silan. Protected for the moment, they're going to turn. They know Leaf has used all his control with a long hook shot. Tigger cancels the Fiend's Grip, but it will not matter. Silan playing with the Arcane Rune to perfection, as he nets himself a double kill at the cost of his support.
Yep, it's a great trade for sure. Exilian is doing such a good job in dishing out the damage. I actually expected him to go for the Maelstrom, but he wants a BKB. He wants to be able to go in and not die, and this is the problem with the Motivate.Trust. Once there's a BKB on the Ember, he just cannot die. You have no ways of killing him unless you destroy him from 100 to 0, and that is very, very unlikely considering you're playing against the Bane and the Nightmare save. Meanwhile, MKS approaching the Deso. There's of course gonna be a response. The Lifestealer has the Sange. Okay, he decides not to go for a Halberd, but rather will be going for a Skadi. Once he gets a Skadi, it means that he has to stay on top of the TA so that MKS can't do the damage. If he gets a Halberd, he can just Halberd him, and they can ignore him while they kill the rest of him. So in my mind, maybe the Halberd right now would have been a bit of a better choice.
Dip in. Gotcha Boy is going to be able to run into the Mars. Not long enough control though. Watch how he looks to turn. Lands a combo. Instant fought from Silan, and now with the lack of control, Silan isn't worried about anything. A remnant to the east. Do they still want to take the fight on RSG? They're lacking the numbers. Silan's doing a lot of damage, but it looks like it might be enough to turn it back in their favor. A 2-for-1. Now Masaros is over the boundary. Doesn't have anyone behind him. Masaros needs some assistance, but a chain gets enough a distance away. Oh, just off the mark with the chains, as Masaros will just escape.
And MKS is finally on top of the network shard. That fight, this Auxiliary and Ember Spit is just doing such a great job. On the back of that buyback, he just got so many kills, and now he's just continuing to ramp up the aggression. The Lifestealer, he needs the third item. Either he gets the Halberd or the Scotty before he can actually fight, because right now with the TA having the Deso, he's a target. He's a target that can die, and coming into a fight and dying right now would be a problem. So Motivate, I think they kind of lost their timing there a bit, and now it's time for RSG to ramp up the aggression.
They're gonna do just that. Xiaoyu, they don't get the stun connection, but they just rip apart the Timber Sword. Didn't have enough reactive armor stacks, and now Roger. Oh no, they blocked the hook shot, so the counter wasn't there. KMP's able to escape, but still now the Soulbind leashing them together, and Silla pounces on the opportunity as Motivate once again stepping too far over the mark, and RSG will capitalize on this window. There's Tigger. Oh no, the sole survivor, but not for long, as RSG will put him firmly 6 feet under as Xiaoyu ends the fight with the triple.
RSG are a better team with easier to execute heroes, easier to read timings of the heroes. So that is the problem. Motivate.Trust, even if they had read the timings of their heroes, you don't necessarily know what is the best approach, because there's just so many ways that you can go close to that. Are we going to play around the Timber? Are we going to play around the Lifestealer? Are we going to bring the Lifestealer to the fight? When are we going to do it? It's very hard to pinpoint exactly that. We are kind of used sometimes to tier 1 teams, and we're like, okay, this is so easy, this lineup is gonna work, but this lineup on the side of Motivate.Trust, it does require a lot of coordination and a lot of knowing what you're gonna do at every point of the fight, which is hard in Dota, even for some of these amazing players. So Motivate.Trust not having those heroes that can just go in and get a kill is a problem. And look at RSG, they're pretty much Fiend's Grip, TA kills someone, we're not gonna fight until we have the TA items, and Motivate.Trust, they just weren't ready for all of those items. We saw how they killed the Lifestealer. He couldn't move an inch in the previous fight.
Yeah, for RSG, it's going to be a big concern now, because they're about to get their BKBs. You've got one on Xiaoyu. Exilin almost has his already one component, 2,600 gold in the bank. MKS, he can disassemble the Dragonlance if required. Triple BKB is going to heavily negate a lot of the damage on Motivate. The Storm's damage, the Shaman, the Timber. So this is going to give them a huge window to be able to continue on the net worth lead that they currently have.
I don't see Motivate.Trust killing heroes unless they catch someone alone. That is the biggest problem. We're gonna have a pause, but Motivate.Trust, they can just kind of bathe in their own despair, because I don't know how you approach this one. It's not like your Timber Saw can survive any longer. It's not like you can start off the fight by getting the kill. I think right now you need to rely on the Lifestealer getting so strong that he can go toe-to-toe with the TA, and you just make sure that you make the Bane be locked down throughout the fight, so that the Lifestealer can stay on the TA, and you try to survive throughout all of it. But for now, I don't think a 5 versus 5 fight is a possibility. So many things need to go right for Motivate.Trust, and so many things need to go wrong for RSG.
Maybe they can still Roche. Do they consider this? We saw the first Serpent mods used for Roche, but it might be pretty obvious if no one defends bottom. Oh, Xiaoyu. It's an early use of the Rage, and look at the backstab. They're going to lock him inside the trees. The TPs are starting to rain him. Tigger's going to be the first to show up, but they can get rid of the Bane. That's important. I don't know if RSG can actually stick around. They haven't executed their ultimates. The Soulbind leashing them together, and will just give them an opportunity now to retreat. Unfortunately for Xiao Bomb will not be successful. Xiaoyu actually jumps into the middle. So he's probably going to be forced to BKB TP. In fact, they want to turn it. MKS on the high ground. Now with the backline as well. They've caught Exilin. Oh no, he didn't get the BKB off. Silin at the last second slide. Remnant one more. But he will not require it. Silin must stand his ground. They'll jump. Master sidestep the spear. Beautiful footwork from the Timber. They need to be able to control him so MKS can deal the damage, but maybe they don't want to stick around now. And yeah, they're going to look to TP. Ooh, is he stuck? Okay, he's going to TP anyway.
Yep. They smelled the blood there, Motivate.Trust. You could see that was a mistake coming out from RSG diving the Lifestealer.
Ooh. That could be Roche, though. I think it is. Oh, they're actually going to go for a kill instead. Timbersaur's in a little bit of trouble. Hasn't popped the hood just yet, but the rest of Radiant are behind. Gotcha Boy's going to zip to the back up of the storm.
He has no mana.
He doesn't really have any mana to utilize with this BKB, so they just walk away from Gotcha Boy. Another long Fiend script instantly taken care of as Xiao Yu slams the door shot. A massive Gore tribute taking away the life for one. Now they're onto the Timbersaw next. It's just mistake after mistake is Motivate. They're not playing together as a unit, and RSG capitalize.
They can't kill anyone. That is the problem. Motivate.Trust, they bring all of their heroes and no one dies. And they're like, okay, we're not dying either. But the problem is that the TA wasn't there. The TA wasn't there. As soon as MKS shows, everyone just dies. And I don't know what was that zip in from Gotcha Boy. Like, I'm gonna go in, use the BKB, but a storm without the mana is pretty much a range creep, just right-clicking that you can't kill at the moment. But as soon as the TA got there, it was just an easy one. And now the second Rosh, you know, first Rosh is important for the TA, but the second one even more so. And now with an Aegis.
Look at this. Shaman onto the Grimstroke. And Tigger's going to hold back the Mars so they can't protect Sha Bonbon for the moment. It needs to be a clean execute, and it's not from Motivate. Further to the south.
They can't even kill the Grim.
Oh, they won't even kill the Mars as well. BKB, something we brought up earlier. They've got no answers to this. The Lifestealer, he's not farmed enough to be able to fight into the magic immunity.
This Grimstroke shard is just too powerful. The Storm and the Shadow Shaman, they can't kill the Grimstroke. He uses the shard on himself, it breaks the shackles, he gets the silence onto the Shadow Shaman, and he pretty much solo kills him. MKS just came in there to secure it, to get some extra damage on the Deso, and now you have Aegis, you have the BKB. This is the perfect timing for RSG from minute 20 to minute 25, maybe 30. That is when the TA is the strongest. That is when you accumulate the lead, and they've done so perfectly. 11,000 gold lead 24 minutes into the game with the TA advantage. I think it's exactly what RSG were looking for.
Mid lane. Look at the chains. Is the follow-up going to be there? Xiao Yu pushes them close to the ceiling, but they don't get the stun connection. Mastros is not going to get any distance away with the Timber, though, so he might still be killed off. Oh, Mastros. No, no, no. He didn't have anyone else to follow in his protection, and now Xiao Yu is looking for more. Arena for good measure, just locking the clockwork into the pit of death. And that is 2 down, and now they might even consider high ground. Why not?
Man, Timbersaw hates trees so much that even if you spear him towards a billion trees, he doesn't get lashed onto them. Like, please don't do it. Please don't do it. And I don't want to get caught with the likes of them. And he actually doesn't get stunned up. I don't know how that worked, to be honest. Now we see that all of those trees are cut down, but let's see now.
Oh, what a nightmare. No, 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 Roger, you're way too good with this hero. You are way too good with this hero. KMP is going to try and do what he can, but Xiao Yu can easily tank through the damage of the life, so he might blink in. Oh, Xiao Yu was a madman. He was definitely considering it. Look at him, utilizing the bulwark, trying to keep the catapult healthy. Once again, the nightmare, but it will not have an opportunity for the BKB. Maybe they're just baiting, though, so they can go inside the base. Silent gets one, but the respawns are coming up shortly. Oh no, Mazaros!
He wants to die.
Chains into death. He wants to die indeed as Xia Bonbon. They even tip Mazaros. Oh no.
No other way to read that than a suicide. Like, I don't want to live in this world any longer, and he just goes in and dies. He saw his laning counterpart die in the clockwork, and of course doesn't wanna stay in this world without
the jumping.
Lifestealer.
AMP, he's got Leaf behind him. Gonna look to try and offset some of the damage with his control. Now for the opportunity to raid turn around. Of course, MKS has the Aegis. The BKB's still a cooldown. They need a way to stop the shackles,
he doesn't have a blink.
Leaf might be able to get a long charge up, and yeah, it looks like they're just gonna sacrifice MKS, recognizing there was nothing they could do to defend the second round of the Templar Assassins. There we go, Motivate. Some Science of Life.
You need multiple kills now. I like that they smoked. You need to go and kill enemies one by one. If they're together, there's a Inkswell or maybe a Nightmare save, you're not going to be getting any big kills. So you need to go fast right now when RSG aren't expecting for this to happen. But the problem is they are expecting for this to happen. We can see that all of them are together. And when that is the case, now Shadow Shaman is actually just going to die because of this move.
Oh no, the Lifestealer is disconnected. They've got their Fiend Script as well. It needs to be a long Hook shot to be able to cancel this, but again, Zhao Bonbon, he eats the
KP
hook
is still
shot.
alive?
It's going to cost him his life, but it looks like KP should always got an Infest carrier. Oh no, Zhao Yu just off the mark with the arena, and now they need to get out. They need to get out because the long zip in. Gacha Boy is onto Zhao Yu. The secrets of events favoring Motivate. If they can turn this fight back into their favor, maybe they've got an angle in for this second game. As they're onto the backline, Zhao Yu's killed off. Now Roger
They want more.
chased inside the base. The tier 3 tower will do nothing to protect him for the moment. Maybe they get Silen as well. A BKB. Silen's going to be able to protect himself for the moment. The double buyback on the supports, but all they will get is the life of the clockwork. To the backline, MKS, is the damage enough? Gacha Boy, no! The last right click was enough to get the kill, the extra damage after the Shadow Blade usage.
Dire's courier has been killed.
You know what, Aries? We probably did some God's work when we are blessed to watch games like this. This is just way too much fun. I can't even get a word in, considering that the action is never ending, and it's just beautiful to look at these teams. I like this Motivate.Trust understood there. We have to dive as much as we can. We can't fight them 5 versus 5. You need to do this right now. Get some buybacks, get some gold lead back. Of course, it's not gonna change the pace of the game, considering with Motivate.Trust they use the buybacks of their own, but it does delay the timing when RSG are gonna win this game. That is the reason with the next Roche they might not be as powerful as they would be otherwise, and if you survive the third Roche, that is the way for you to win this one. The Lifestealer will start getting some DPS items. There's the Crystallis. Next one is the Halberd, just to make sure that the TA doesn't destroy your teammates. And you know, with that kind of a move, it's gonna give them some more time. But now they're going for a smoke, and it might actually catch RSG off guard.
It was smoked under the trap though, so RSG, they're aware of this. Look at them grouping up. Multiple wards down bottom. Zhao Bonbon. There we go. Pops the smoke. Blinks away. Gacha Boy's gonna zip in. Onto Silen, protected for the moment. Great ink swell. Now Silen, he's okay. They might look to go for the clockwork instead. He's got a lot of health with the infest, but it will not matter. Now the Fiend's Grip, but they don't have the long-range hook shot to be able to cancel the Fiend's Grip. It's going to be relying on Gacha Boy to jump, but it doesn't matter. KP's dead. And now Radiant, they need to retreat. They need to get out, but they might not be able to. Another arena doesn't catch anyone, but they have the ward in the lane that will see the Timbersaw retreating at the front of the tier 3 tower as Zhao Yu gets the spear connection. In the grave he goes, 100 seconds, no buybacks on Motivate. But they don't have creeps to be able to push inside the base.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They have the creeps on the bottom lane, though. There is no glyph just yet, so this tier 2 will fall. Storm, though, that is a way. That is a glyph. That is a guy that deals with creeps. Very nicely done by him, so this means that the base will stay safe, at least for now.
16,000 net worth lead for RSG. They are in prime position to take this series 2-0. Mid lane's getting shoved out. Bot's getting shoved out as well. The Storm's going to do his shenanigans. They might glyph the wave. Well, they got a catapult at least, so not a concern.
You know, at some point the catapult will come. Motivate.Trust. Unfortunately for them that they lost the fight there. Unfortunately for them that they smoked onto a trap. But now this should be 2 lanes of racks. And even when Motivate.Trust are up, they're not going to have the timbers. So pretty much all of these heroes are quite easy for the TA to bring down. At least they have a glyph. So that's something that's going to deal with the siege creep. But the wave through the mid lane means that this tier 3, at least the tier 3 will be going down.
Simultaneous initiation onto the Templar. Assassin is falling lower and lower. But a BKB offering some protection. Can he get out there? Blinks up in a couple of seconds. Silver's Edge has rolled the detection. It's there. They finally get the Templar Assassin, but at what cost? Is Silen with the double damage. Ruta just tearing apart hero after hero. Gacha Boy's going to look to buy back, but he's got full mana to be able to utilize now onto Zhao Bonbon. So the call has been made. RSG just going to TP out with the sole survivors. But it was such a heavy commitment. A buyback onto Gacha Boy. They do get a couple of heroes though. You defend the base, but still it's a heavy investment.
Good approach to the fight to go on the TA first. The TA is the hero that actually brings the Lifestealer down. If the TA is low, even if she doesn't die, the Lifestealer will survive almost anything. Look at him, he has 4,000 HP with the armlet turned on, and he has a decent amount of lifesteal there if he's attacking the Mars. He might not be doing the most damage, but if he's surviving the storm, the rest of the pack, the Timbersaw in particular, they're gonna be dishing out the damage necessary, and even if they're not, at some point the Lifestealer will run people down with the Ghoul Frenzy and the in the eye of the Scotty. So I like the idea. Now they should know you need to go onto the TA every single time, but for that to be a possibility, you can't give them Roche. RSG, they get a free Roche, they win this game, so there's gonna be a lot of emphasis on this third Roche. If Motivate.Trust lose a fight here, they lose the game. If RSG win a fight, they most likely will be able to end this one.
They're hunting. Leaf gets a jump to the Bane, to the back line. KMP will have plenty of damage. They're going to trade a 1-for-1 at the moment. They've got to be cautious. MK is about to respawn. Jiayu's going to push Masteros closer to the side of Dire, so this TP is starting to rain in. They've got Refresher if he needs to use it on Jiayu. Masteros is going to look to TP out. There won't be a way to answer that, but they are under a ward. KMP. You see him along with Gacha Boy. They're starting to connect.
They can't kill the TA without the Shadow Shaman or without the Timber Saw. They need one or the other for the fight with the hook shot. They just won't have enough damage in the tank, so they're gonna stay back. They do have good vision here, seeing him and jumping on MKS. That is the way that you win this game. You kill the TA, and then the Lifestealer can't die.
A side set from Sillon. He's the only one with a buyback in our game too. He's got level 25, Remnant Charge, Restore Time, the Templar Assassin. Also level 25 with the Refraction. I believe they just smoked on the ward. Jiayu, this is all on you to get the start. They're clumped up. See how the arena's going to come into play. The jump. Jiayu, oh no. Prime target's going to be the Storm Spirit. They leash him together as well. No buyback on Gacha Boy. Another fight crumbles like that. They've broken the formation to the right side though. Timber, along with the Lifestealer, starting to break away the lineup of RSG, but KMP, he doesn't have the damage. He does not have the items to be able to stand his ground and man fight MKS. They're lacking detection for the moment. KMP, well, at least he'll be able to evade this for the moment, but it doesn't matter. If you lost 3 for the price of 1 in our Roche, that's on the agenda for RSG.
The thing is, if RSG are the ones initiating and you don't see the TA until he kills one of your heroes, one of the heroes that is needed to bring her down, the fight will not go your way. You cannot keep the TA away from attacking for a very long time with just the Lifestealer at this point. Even with the Skadi, even with the Heaven's Halberd, those seconds will pass and he will at some point start dishing out the damage. Now the Aghanim Shard comes out, the Aegis as well. He's also sporting the cheese, and this game should be over at this point. RSG, they got everything they need. This is the perfect timing for them to end the game. Probably the one that they have been planning from the start.
Yeah, still Radiant without the buybacks. Shaman's going to be up in 20 seconds in regard to his buyback. The rest of the team are lacking the gold, and Jiayu was going to find one of the heroes without the buyback. They need a way to be able to protect him. Shaco's doing a decent job as they turn it around onto Jiayu. Infest protecting the Timbersaw for the moment. Mastros pummeled down from afar. Gonna try and juke through the tree line. Mastros needs some assistance. It looks like he won't get it fast enough as MKS finds him in the trees. I don't know what you can do here on Motivate. You got Storm up in a couple of seconds.
So tough. These 3 heroes don't kill the TA. They just don't. There is a sleep behind him as well, and plus he has the Aegis. If you don't kill the TA, you will die. So I think you wait for the clockwork and you try. Oh, there's no Mars. Okay, at least that. You wait for the full 5-man lineup and you try to kill the TA during the 5 seconds that she's dead. You focus on other heroes. You use the halberd only when she's back up. And then you have those 10 seconds to clean out the other ones. I think that's the approach from Motivate.Trust, the only one that he have. Is it going to be successful with a 30k goal lead? Probably not, but at least they should have a plan of how they approach the fight. This is something that they have to talk about right now.
You know, Daddy Gaben saying it's a 0% chance for Motivate to find a way back into this game.
Come on, Gaben. I mean, if the Lord doesn't believe in you, then no one will. So Motivate.Trust, I think you just GG out right now. They probably don't have that info, but once they find out that our Lord and Savior isn't on their side, they pretty much can't pray to anyone.
Is it ever... Oh, they're coming outside the base. Let's see. Infest into Tigger. Leaf is in the tree line. They need some way to scout out Sillon. Maybe they're going to run into Zhao Bonbon instead. Oh, the Grimstroke. He doesn't have the Aeon Disc just yet, so they pounce for the opportunity. But Dire, they're more than happy to take the fight as the arena controlling the neighborhood with the backline. Roger, he's found the Fiends. Get Roger again, always on point. with the ultimates, just locking these key components into place. There's now KMP, he's in trouble with the backline as they swarm towards the live sealer.
Radiant's bottom
Jiayu unfortunately unable to catch up to Masra, so it's going to be 2 against the world.
That world seems to be insurmountable right now, and they're gonna make an example out of Masaros right now. Go back in your
KP?
base, go in your
Oh,
corner.
no. They just found the live stealer. Chains, but will rage it off. Gonna try and turn it around. Rage is about to expire, KP. You gotta be a bit cautious. Infest up in a couple of seconds. KP will find that extra rage duration coming through from the 25. Jiayu gets another speed connection. Look at the rest of RSG. As soon as one hero is stunned up, they just jump instantly to follow with the damage they were requiring for the kill. No buyback on Masros. Now the tier 4s are under siege. One last ditched attempt for Motivate to be able to hold this game out, but unfortunately they don't have the damage nor the heroes in the tank as the live stealer pinned against the throne that's soon to explode.
Shadow Shaman is back.
Oh, well, he can do it. I believe in you, Leaf. You can do it. Instead, you just get 2 hit down by MKS, and they'll even get Gacha Boy for good measure. Well, in fact, the throne blows up beforehand as RSG will take our first series of the night 2-0.
I think that Motivate.Trust with the drafts that they went for, they bit off a little more than they could chew, just because this is a tier 1 draft. For this draft to work, you have to do everything perfectly. When you're lacking damage, it's much easier for the enemies to play. Look at this. Spear, Inkswell, Sleight of Fist Chains, the hero is dead. On the other side, Motivate.Trust, okay, let's wait for them to use their spells so that they don't have a response to the Timber Saw. Then we jump in, then we wait for the Fiend Scream to come out, we jump in and we hex him. There's just so many things you have to wait for. Your team fight needs to be perfect. Communication inside of a team fight needs to be perfect as well. As we know, Motivate.Trust, lately they've had some changes in their roster, which means that the communication instantly isn't gonna be too good. And RSG, they proved that they're a better team, as I said, with an easier to execute lineup, pretty straightforward timings, and MKS's TA just doing so much later on. But Exilern, I have to say, the definite MVP, not only of the game, but of the series as well. His performance on the puck was amazing, and now on the Ember Spirit, the only time he died was that one death when he bought back, so he was pretty much dead for 2 or 3 seconds in this game. Let's see that. So death losses, he was dead for 6 seconds in this game, and constantly he was dishing out the damage, doing 67,000 throughout this game. We can see that none of the cores on the side of Motivate.Trust come even close to that.
It was a incredible performance from Zillion in a game like this, and of course it is heavily enabled. They like to find ways to enable Zillion, whether it's stacks, whether it's supports, IO, Grimstroke, whatever you want to have as that accelerant. And we saw it in a game like this. I don't think I've seen a better performance from him. That buyback as well, just that's such a risky decision to make. Buying back, if you die, then your game is completely over. But if you buy back and you get kills like he did, he found the triple kill, and all of a sudden he was right in prime position to be able to take over this game, and he did just that. Like you said, 25, 1, and 24. 49 out of the 56 kills he participated in. That is a incredible performance from Zillion and the rest of RSG. We were mentioning...
Yeah,
Go, sorry.
Also, MKS, you have to focus on him, and we have been focusing on him for the entirety of the game in the later on fights. But if you're focusing on MKS, then Exilern is doing massive amounts of damage. So even if Motivate.Trust would be able to bring down MKS, Exilern would still destroy them. And if you don't ignore the Ember Spirit, then the TA will do it. So it was just a perfect combo between the two. All of that coming back to Exilern just having an awesome game, as we mentioned.
Yeah, and we were also mentioning at the start of this series how important this is for RSG. They really struggled through their earlier games. I mean, they were before this series they were 4-8, so this is going to put them up to 6-8. So it's they still have another series against Lil Gun. They proved in Division 2 that they can definitely beat Lil Gun. Of course, it's a different tournament. I think we both feel like they're just easing the foot off the gas a little bit, experimenting on things, taking a bit of a break, probably not screaming as hard and putting all their attention onto it, just relaxing after Division 2. But if they win that series, if they win it 2-0, then it could definitely put them in a position where they can move up into the top 4. Of course, top 4, they get the upper bracket berth, and the 5th to 8th place, they start in the lower bracket. So RSG still need to be very convincing with their next series, but of course, that's going to be down the line In fact, our second series, though, the match is going to be Enigma Galaxy C against Lil Gun. So this is pretty important. NGXC, with their new roster, have been looking exceptional. They've only dropped 2 maps so far. They're currently 8-2 in second place. And for Lil Gun, well, they're at the bottom. I think a lot of people would not be expecting Lil Gun to be in 9th place currently with a 1-5 map count. So the Lil Gun in particular really need to start picking up some victories here, because it's definitely a position you would not expect the Mongolian boys to be in. But we're going to have a bit of a break, probably about 12-13 minutes. And when we come back, we've got Lil Gun taking on NGXC.